Early one morning, a man wakes up from his sleep. He sweetly says good morning to his girlfriend lying next to him, but when she opens her eyes, the man patiently explains that he is her boyfriend. However, the girl doesn't recognize him at all. That's because her memory is stuck a year in the past. Every morning when she wakes up, she forgets everything that happened the day before. No matter how the man explains it, she can't remember a single thing about him. She even mistakes him for a stalker. By the time the girl's father and brother arrive, the man has already been knocked out cold. Luckily, he isn't seriously hurt, but it gives him his first taste of how bitter love can be. Henry is a veterinarian at a marine park in Hawaii. Because of the nature of his job, he often attracts beautiful tourists from all over the world. But whenever a girl wants to take things further, he finds every excuse to bail out. He enjoys the thrill of a fling, leaving without any strings attached. His dream is to sail a boat around the world, but he hadn't gone very far on this trip when his sailboat suffered a breakdown. He had to take a lifeboat to get back to shore. While waiting for his boat to be repaired, he walked into a cafe to grab a bite to eat. Just after he ordered, a beam of light suddenly caught his eye. He looked in the direction of the light and saw a beautiful girl sitting there. She was busy building a house out of waffles. Henry watched her with curiosity. Before this, he only played around with tourists. He never dated local girls because he didn't want the responsibility or to get tied down. But this girl was a local, and he couldn't get her out of his mind. Her every smile and gesture tugged at his heartstrings. This time, he was really falling. Early the next morning, he went back to the diner. The girl was building a waffle house again. Henry noticed she seemed to be having trouble, so he picked up a toothpick and walked over to her. And just like that, they ended up sitting together. Since Henry had worked at the aquarium for so long, his hands always smell a bit like fish. Lucy notices the scent on Henry's hands, too. Embarrassed, he pulls his hands back and tries to wipe them clean. But surprisingly, Lucy doesn't mind the smell at all. Since her father and brother are both fishermen, they always carry that scent, too. In Lucy's heart, it's the most wonderful smell in the world. Henry is deeply moved by Lucy's innocent smile. When you're with someone on the same wavelength, you never run out of things to talk about. It isn't until the restaurant owner comes to shoo them away that they finally leave, reluctant to part. He learns from Lucy that today just happens to be her father's birthday, so she has to rush back to get things ready for him. They agree to meet for breakfast again the next day. After saying goodbye, they head to their cars. Having scored a date with the girl, Henry is absolutely ecstatic, and Lucy, thinking a guy is chasing after her, also does a happy little dance right there. But when the vehicle between them drives off, they catch each other mid-celebration. When they look back and lock eyes, they instantly want to flee from the embarrassment. The next day, even though it's pouring rain, Henry shows up right on time. He enthusiastically goes over to greet Lucy, and even cracks a joke with her. But this time, Lucy acts like a completely different person. She doesn't recognize him at all. The Henry she was chatting so warmly with just yesterday. The owner quickly rushes over and pulls Henry aside, telling him the truth about Lucy. It turns out, a year ago, Lucy was badly injured in a car accident. She and her father were heading to the North Shore to pick pineapples when they encountered a herd of cows on the road. Unable to brake in time, her father swerved the car and crashed into a large tree. Her father broke a few ribs, but Lucy suffered a severe head injury. She lost her short-term memory. She only remembers things that happened before the crash. Every day she wakes up, Lucy thinks it's October 13th of last year, her father's birthday. That day, she always starts by coming to the diner for breakfast. After she got home, her father would pretend the pineapples had already been picked. Then, he'd ask her to help paint the mural in the studio. In the evening, the family would sit together to watch the game and celebrate her father's birthday all over again. Only after Lucy went upstairs to sleep could they finally breathe a sigh of relief. Then, they'd begin the cleanup operation to reset for the next day. To make this work, they kept a freezer stocked full of pineapples and printed hundreds of copies of that specific newspaper. They would also take the wall Lucy had painted and whitewash it again. They maintained this repetitive cycle for over a year. Hearing this, Henry couldn't help but feel sorry for her. Henry shared the story with his friend. Given Henry's usual dating habit, his friend thought Lucy was the perfect catch. But this time, Henry seemed to have truly fallen for her. He didn't want to see Lucy get hurt again, so he decided to change his tactic to make Lucy genuinely fall in love with him. Lucy still went to the diner every morning, but the owner was afraid Henry would hurt her, so she wasn't welcoming at all. The owner's son also warned him to stay away from Lucy, claiming she didn't like being disturbed. So Henry picked up a toothpick and tried to help fix the door on her Waffle House. But this time, Lucy just thought he was rude. food, and Henry left in defeat. The next day, Henry returned to the diner. He drew a simple sketch on paper, and went over to strike up a conversation, hoping to bond over art. But Lucy pretended to be a foreigner who couldn't understand English, so Henry quietly went back to his seat. He had lost another bet with his buddy, but he still didn't give up. This time, he pretended to be a tourist who didn't speak English, and started fake crying to get Lucy's attention. And this time, the trick actually worked. Sweet Lucy patiently helped him with some basic English pronunciation. They really hit it off. Time flew by, and soon it was time to say goodbye again. A look of disappointment crossed Lucy's face. Henry wanted to explain, but Lucy didn't want to talk to him anymore, and just drove away. Henry tracked her down to her house, but Lucy's father had already got a call from the diner owner, so he angrily dragged Henry away, warning him to stay away from his daughter. Lucy's dad and brother had gone to great lengths to protect her, and they felt Henry was about to ruin everything. They were furious, but Henry wasn't about to give up. Since her father banned him from the restaurant, he decided to create his own opportunities. So, he staked out the road Lucy took every day to manufacture chance encounters. He pretended his car had broken down, and asked Lucy for tools to fix it. Lucy didn't hesitate to help. Henry joked around with her, and Lucy's fun personality made Henry fall for her even harder. Next, Henry got his friend involved to play along in a skit. When Lucy was about to arrive, they staged a roadside mugging. Good-hearted Lucy stopped immediately when she saw it. Henry kept pretending to scream for help. Lucy pulled out a baseball bat and gave Henry's friend a serious beating. Henry really threw his friend under the bus that time. In the days that followed, come rain or shine, Henry would wait on Lucy's daily route to stage an encounter. He brainstormed all kinds of characters to play. He even brought his work partner along to assist him, all just to catch Lucy's attention. But not every meeting was a success. This time, Henry was setting up a fake kidnapping, but it was Lucy's father who showed up instead. Henry's dedication to Lucy. Lucy's family has been watching all of this. They invite Henry over to their house. Henry follows Lucy's father home. He opens the door to her studio, and sees Lucy painting a mural, humming a song as she worked. Her father tells Henry that only on the days she meets him does Lucy sing happily like that. From her behavior, they can tell she's really fallen for Henry. Henry realizes that Lucy's family wants, more than anyone, for her to wake up from this. They're doing their best to protect her, terrified she'll get hurt. He understands that Lucy needs someone who accepts her reality, someone who will stay by her side and take care of her. But then, one day, their worst fear finally comes true. Because Lucy's registration was 5 months expired, a cop put a ticket on her car. She argued with him that it wasn't due until next year, until she saw the actual date on a newspaper. She drove home immediately. Seeing her rush back in a panic, her father knew something was wrong. So, he told Lucy the truth. She couldn't believe that she was reliving the same day over and over. She ran to the beach alone and broke down in tears. Her family, afraid she'd do something rash, followed right behind her. The photo album documented the car accident and showed pictures from her time in the hospital. Then, they took her to the hospital again. Lucy's brain scans were displayed on the screen. Though he must have explained it countless times, the doctor patiently told them again that Lucy's condition is stable for now, but it could potentially get worse. Hearing this news, both Lucy and Henry were devastated. After a long day, they didn't get home until night. Lucy could also feel Henry's devotion. After saying goodnight to Lucy, Henry didn't rush off. He stayed behind with her father and brother to figure out a new plan. Henry believed that they shouldn't keep lying to Lucy, forcing her to live a lie every single day, especially seeing how devastated she was by the truth today. He felt they needed to be upfront and tell her everything, even if the truth caused her pain and confusion, because he trusted that love would find a way. Before leaving, he secretly borrowed the album with photos of Lucy's accident. So the next day, Henry showed up with flowers, posing as a delivery guy, bringing Lucy her favorite lilies, along with a videotape. Hearing that a secret admirer had sent her flowers, Lucy beamed with joy. She couldn't wait to play the tape, while her family watched anxiously from behind. The video explained that she had missed a few things this year, documenting all the major events of the past 12 months. Henry also included the story of how they first met. He even got a friend to dress up as Lucy to reenact their first encounter. Not only that, it showed how all her friends and family had been carefully protecting her. After watching Henry's thoughtful video, Lucy sat alone by the ocean and cried for an hour, but slowly, she accepted the harsh reality. She felt the depth of Henry's love for her, and began to accept his affection. From then on, the first thing Lucy did every morning was watch that videotape. She also started keeping a journal, and they officially started dating. They walked and laughed together in the sunset. Life is like that, full of both happiness and regret. They were like any other couple deeply in love, enjoying the sweetness and joy of romance. They went to parties with friends, sharing stories around the bonfire, and strolling along the beach, soaking in the peace and beauty of their time together. To capture their love, Lucy brought along a camera, and they shared a passionate kiss. Henry takes Lucy to the aquarium for a date, and every time, she can't help but sigh, wishing she had met Henry before her car accident. Henry continues to create surprises for Lucy every day. He even wrote a special song just for her, with lyrics chronicling how they met, and every detail of their love. Lucy falls deep in love with Henry's gentleness and care. Every day, Henry finds a new way to make her fall for him all over again. For them, every kiss is a first kiss, and their relationship moves to the next level. As the morning sunlight streams in, Lucy wakes up from her slumber in a daze. She has forgotten everything that happened the day before, and so, the scene from the beginning plays out again. It isn't until she finishes watching the videotape that Lucy finally calms down. She feels terrible about her initial reaction. By chance, she overhears a conversation between Henry and the doctor. She learns that in order to take care of her, Henry gave up his dream of sailing around the world. He was worried that if he left, all his efforts would be for nothing. He believed that deep in Lucy's subconscious, she had already remembered his existence. But the doctor pours cold water on his hope, telling Henry this will never become a reality. Lucy hears every word of this. She sinks into deep self-blame. So that afternoon, she finds Henry, and formally breaks up with him. Henry doesn't want to let go, but Lucy is resolute. She hands her journal over to Henry. This is the diary she started writing after receiving Henry's videotape. It was filled with their beautiful memories, but Lucy, knowing she can't keep those memories, chooses to destroy them. She wipes away every trace of Henry from her mind. As they part, she stops Henry one last time, and just like that, their love comes to an end. They return to their original lives. Henry goes back to his work at the aquarium, while Lucy, under her father's protection, continues her repetitive existence. In her memory, it's as if Henry never existed. Only Henry remains unable to let her go. To try and forget Lucy, Henry decided to finally set sail on his voyage. Before he left, friends and family gathered to see him off. Lucy's father and brother thanked him for taking such good care of Lucy. Henry asked how she was doing. To stop being a burden to her father and brother any longer, she had checked herself into a care facility. There, she teaches art classes and spends her days painting happily. Before parting, Lucy's father gave Henry a CD as a gift. After saying his goodbyes, Henry set sail on his journey. He opened the gift from Lucy's father. It was a CD of Lucy's favorite song. As he sailed all alone on the open sea, listening to that CD made him miss Lucy terribly. He realized something wasn't right. Suddenly, he recalled her father's words. He immediately turned the boat around and rushed back. He raced all the way to the clinic and shouted Lucy's name. Lucy turned to look at him, confused. Henry's eyes filled with disappointment. Just as he turned to leave, Lucy called out to him and said she had something to show him. When she opened the door to her studio, the room was filled with paintings of Henry. It turned out that deep in her memory, he had been there all along. The mind may forget, but the heart remembered. Meeting again felt just like the first time, and they shared their first kiss once more. Sometime later, when Lucy woke up again, playing the videotape by her bedside had become the first thing she did every single morning. As time went on, Henry kept updating the content of the tape. Lucy would shed tears over her accident, but find joy in Henry's constant companionship. As Lucy looked out the window at the view, she finds herself on Henry's voyage. Lucy walks out of the cabin in disbelief. I didn't go with you. Love is just like that. It arrives silently when you're least prepared, and you fall for him without a second thought. Even if you can only have the warmth of that single day, even if you lose your dream of sailing the world, even if you lose the life you once longed for, there are no regrets, for deep in memory, at the end of time, the traces of their true love can never be erased. May everyone find their true love and stay together for a lifetime.